Right. Our next section we're going to do here has to do with the impact of European colonization in Africa. And we're going to find that this section sounds very familiar because it's very similar to what happened in India. It's also going to be very similar, not India, Southeast Asia, but it is also very similar to what we'll find out happens in India. So in some European countries, especially the British, try to rule indirectly. They try to make deals with local leaders, allowing them to stay in power, and just kind of following the dictates of the British, right? So if the British say, hey, we want you to do X, Y, and Z, the local leaders say, fine. But on the ground, the people don't have to deal with British rule, okay? This doesn't always work. One of the problems is that the local population gets upset that their rulers are also unfair, right? So it's like, wait a minute, so we have to follow do it what's right for you guys, but our old rulers were also unfair to us. So it's kind of a double whammy in a way, because you're getting a new set of rules put on your head. And you're kind of stuck with the same old guy who maybe, or a woman who maybe wasn't the best ruler. I think the example the book gave was in Nigeria. That was this was something that was happening. And similar to Southeast Asia, the French tried to use direct rule, where they send a representative in from Paris who is on the ground ruling over the people, oftentimes police or military force there to help keep order. The French really want to try to have the people assimilate into French culture, right? Where the English kind of say, keep your own culture, just give us what we need. The French are going to say, no, 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 you guys turn French. Become French. Let me show you the beauty of our culture. And they oftentimes allow the local people to serve in the legislative body, in the country itself. For example, Algeria would have a situation where there are Algerians who are serving in this French-style government, where there's a French ruler, but many of the representatives in the legislative body are Algerian. Heck, some are even invited to Paris to serve in the Parisian French government. In France, they really do work to try and assimilate the local population into French culture, even into French government. Again, we're going to find out that after 25 to 50 years of colonial rule, the British and the Europeans, they're going to build roads and railroads and eventually telegraphs and bring low levels of electricity into the cities, not the countrysides, and schools. And they're going to educate the young people of these areas. And when you get that Western education and you find out the Enlightenment ideals, the freedoms of speech, of religion, of the right to protest, and then you see that, so in Europe, you guys fought for these rights, but you're not giving them to us, right? The right to self-government, to rule over yourself. It's going to cause these first generation of European-style educated Africans to be the leaders in resistance movements. And we're going to see that come the early 1900s, the Africans are going to start to organize into political parties and try and fight for their political rights, the same rights, in fact, that the Europeans themselves had in their countries. So again, we talk about both indirect and direct rule, but we also talk about the idea that it's the first generation of leaders, of educated, European-style educated Africans who are going to push for those same rights that the Europeans have, but this time they want the rights for themselves in their countries.